We've got some breaking news here this morning on a Friday. CBS Sports HQ, where the Premier League out in England has postponed this weekend's matches following the death of Queen Elizabeth II. The league called it a mark of respect to the Queen, who died Thursday at the age of 96. Here is the statement. It does read in part, as our longest-serving monarch, she has been an inspiration and leaves behind an incredible legacy following a life of dedication. Further updates regarding the Premier League fixtures during the period of mourning will be provided in due course. All right, let's check in with James Benge, who is over there in the UK and gives us a pulse of what's happening out there. So, James, I'm curious to get your thoughts and tell us where you are. How is this news being received today?
I think the response is maybe more mixed than people expected. And certainly one thing we should say is the government, the Department for Culture, Media and Sport, made clear to sports that you don't have to postpone any sporting events on any occasion during this period of mourning, even including the day of the state funeral, which we're still waiting for confirmation on. The Premier League, the Football Association, the English Football League have decided, without that pressure from government, that there will be no football this weekend. And that goes right the way from the big Premier League games at Arsenal, Chelsea, so on, right the way down to grassroots level, effectively kids football. That has maybe had a more mixed response than the English sporting authorities might have expected. And it's not necessarily in line with what every other sport is doing. For instance, we're expecting the cricket to go ahead this weekend. There's a big horse racing meeting at St Ledgers. Obviously, the Queen was very passionate about horse racing. That's been pushed back by one day, but will still go ahead. So the Premier League, a little bit out of step maybe with some of the other sporting bodies in just deciding, along with the EFL, to postpone everything.
And we're taking a look at images of Manchester United participating in a European competition. Of course, that continues with the Champions League next week, where a couple of English-based clubs like Liverpool and Chelsea will have home fixtures scheduled. So obviously the next question, James, becomes what is next? Contingent on, of course, funeral plans. So we, in theory, could not have, of course, game week 7 this weekend, potentially game week 8. There's an international break. What do you anticipate we'll see, at least where you are, again, in terms of domestic club football?
Yeah, in terms of the domestic games, game week 8 next week looks like it could be complicated. From what I'm hearing, policing was not a huge factor in deciding to postpone the games that are coming up this week. But obviously next week, as you can see up on screen there, we've got games in London coming up. And, if the state funeral is when we expect it to be, maybe Monday the upcoming Monday. If it's then that could be a complicating factor in terms of policing with thousands of people expected in London to pay their tributes to the Queen. European fixtures, it will, once more, policing could be a factor, but I think there will be little bit more leeway. From what I've heard, UEFA will be understanding of any request that's needed to postpone the game, but equally, if the game can go ahead, the clubs have the green light to play it if they wish to do so, and if they do, I'm sure there'll be tributes to Queen Elizabeth.
All right, James Benge joining us here on CBS Sports HQ. James, certainly appreciate it, and for any updates, make sure to check out his social media accounts, especially on Twitter, for the very latest. James, certainly appreciate it. Again, game week 7 this weekend. Those matches have been postponed, and in all likelihood, when you take a look at those who predict blank game weeks and double game weeks, it is not likely that these matches will be replayed and taking place before the World Cup. But due to COVID and the pandemic, there has been experience over the last 2 years in the Premier League of rescheduling these fixtures, but again, anticipate those to happen at a later date.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.